How's it going, guys? It's me, the Domotaku, here today with a special video because, for one, I'm going to be reviewing my previous anime spring season, 2016 season, of all the anime I talked about back in the days. Like, you know, like these are the ones I talked about in my video, like my YouTube channel, like Netoge, Kiss Niver, Hyfuri, all that stuff. So I am going to give my opinion on that season and rank my favorite animes from that season because, for one, it feels like a long ass time ago when I freaking watched these series. I was like, oh man, this feels like it was just yesterday, but that's actually last month. So I'll give you guys my opinion of my favorite series from the last season, spring 2016. So let's get on with it. I didn't watch a lot, but you know, hopefully I can just give you guys my thoughts and feelings of the last season. So let's get started. So number 6, we are starting off with a series that I did on my channel, Netoge. Something about a girl never being online or something like that, or never trust a girl online or whatnot. So this anime series is going to be at the back or the lower part of my list. It's top 6 for one, considering, you know, it was pretty plain for one. Like I said, and if you watch the final review of this series, for one, I said that it has its moments, and out of other series sort of similar like this, I found this one really more interesting for one, because at first it really hooked me up with this premise about like freaking online relationships and dating and like gaming and shit, right? Where you like confess your love to a girl online, but turns out to be a dude. And I was like, what the shit? So, you know, that could leave some scars on a dude. So I was really invested in it, and then to see sort of this slice of life aspect in this series really hooked me up, because for one, I'm a man of slice of life. I admit that because I watch all the key animes. So yeah, you know, the sudden slice of life stuff in this series really hooked me up, and it really drove me to be invested with the Ako and Rusia and the couple relationship and all the romance in this series. So I was like, okay, let me stick with this, and you know, I finished it to the end. It was okay in the series, not the greatest, not the worst, but you know, this is why it sort of earns my 6th place in this season. Number 5, Kiss Niver. So Kiss Niver, interestingly enough, this one gets number 5 for one, because for to some extent I enjoyed this a little bit more than Netoge, because at the later part of Netoge it kind of got it sort of died down on me, but I still enjoyed it to an extent. This series, you know, I really enjoyed just this series from its interesting sci-fi plot to how it went, and how it sort of uses the sci-fi plot as like, you know, the Kisna marks and everything to like build up this whole story. And I mean, for this series, I wish I would have seen more, and because of that fact alone, like that fact, I want to see more of Kiss Niver and like see a lengthier thing and see more to this story, that it really, you know, I liked it more than Netoge. And of course, you know, this slice of life thing, that more slice of life-esque kind of stuff where it deals with the pains of humans and whatnot and human connections and stuff, it got me. And of course, for one, I gotta call out the freaking opening Lay Your Hands on Me by Boom Boom Satellites. That is the freaking most awesomest opening of this season. We'll give it that. That was freaking amazing. So yeah, the ending, you know, the ending was, you know, 12 episodes is basic, but that's, you know, at the end when I was sort of disappointed to end this series, and they sort of got started. You know, they could easily do more with the series, but you know, that's why it earns 5, because, or the fifth spot in my list, because it ended really abruptly, but I liked it more than this. Okay, so that's really it. Number 4, Hyfuri or High School Fleet. So, High School Fleet. Now, I was talking about how I enjoyed his Niver a lot, but this series, I enjoyed this series quite a lot actually. This series was, for one, sort of different for me in this sense, because there was I have a sense of need of action in this series, and this one sort of fulfilled that to some extent. And you know, having like this anime about like traditional freaking like sea warfare and whatnot, and battleships and whatnot, I was just like really invested in this. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And you know, the fact that it's all girls, whatever, it's fine, who cares, you know. And eventually, you know, I really did enjoy this series. It had some pretty interesting battles for one, and you know, it's all just in the pinch, because that's how freaking warfare works. You know, the combat, how they had to freaking like commandeer these battleships with freaking a whole huge crew and whatnot. That was just pretty cool. And you have freaking like ship battles, just like, oh, fire there and fire there. Like, that was exciting. I'll get that. And you know, episode 10, the freaking Equator Festival, hilarious as shit. final battle, that was pretty good. And you know, they had like some kind of weird ass plot line with like mutated rats and whatnot. But like I said in Kiss Niver, I enjoyed this a lot more than Kiss Niver, because Kiss Niver was like really dramatic stuff. This one just like dramatic with some action on the side, and I really enjoyed that. Number 3, Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Now, I did not completely fully review this series in my channel. I did like the first 2 episodes and I was like, oh, it's okay, I'll keep watching it and whatnot. But back when I said Haifuri, you know, there was a missing sense of action in this season that I was really looking for. And you know, Haifuri did have some action, but not really enough action to hype me up and stuff in their battles. And when I saw Kabaneri, I freaking marathoned and I freaking, what do you call it, binge watched the whole thing to the current episode, and I was like, oh my god, this is pretty good. So, Attack on Titan and this series, for one, you know, Attack on Titan was pretty good at its time, but after watching this and being freaking delayed of a season 2 and having to read the manga for the past like years that's been out, I found this show a lot more entertaining than Attack on Titan, like, honestly. And this series went on for 12 episodes, which I was really disappointed in, because, you know, because I like it. I like the series, like, oh man, freaking iron zombies and all the freaking, like, shit that goes in this thing. This had the action that I was, like, looking for in the series, and, like, you know, freaking fighting zombies and all the cool shit that happened. Like, you know, it was freaking pure action, and I really enjoyed like freaking samurai swords and like guns and stuff. That was amazing. And I was just like, you know, when you watch a freaking fight scene, the soundtrack, like that shit hyped me up. I was like, oh yeah, let's go and whatnot. Later on in the series though, the later part with the plot supposedly with Biba and Mume, that stuff sort of like, you know, it's just like, oh, this is random, you know, but they had to do something for 12 episodes, right? So, you know, I wouldn't mind having this series and just having like a long ass running series of them trying to survive this zombie apocalypse. I really would. And you know, you have a lot of action and stuff, like that would be cool. But they did some kind of weird stuff with Mume's brother Biba and like all that stuff, and you know, ended it in 12 episodes. That's it. But you know, for one, I will admit the freaking action in this series earned its place in 3. If I could sort of ignore that weird ass plot line in the freaking later half of Kabaneri. So yeah, number 3. So number 2, speaking of action, My Hero Academia. So let me be honest here. For one, the anime was good, but for one, it was something that I really didn't catch up with, and that's because I already knew what happened in the series. For those of you guys who are like who read the manga and enjoy the shit out of that to where it is now, like it's freaking amazing, right? And when they announced an anime, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And like I heard they're doing the same people who did One Punch Man. It's like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be pretty good. I watched the first 2 episodes together, and that was amazing. That was really good. I was like, oh my gosh, the manga and anime and it's all moving and colors and shit. Like this is so amazing. And then, you know, as I had to wait for episodes to come out and whatnot, I was just like, sort of like, oh, the new episode of My Hero came out today. Nah, I already know what happened, it's fine. I'll watch it all like in one go later, right? So that's what happened. And not saying that My Hero Academia's anime was bad or anything, it's just that, you know, I already knew what happened because I read the manga. And you know, it's just it's almost the same thing. I literally went back to the first chapter and saw how they did all the stuff, right? And it's like there are legit scenes or like freaking like images from the anime. It's like, oh, or the manga, and they brought it to the anime and brought it to life. And I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. So of course it follows the same like plotline. I think it was like the first 20 chapters. I don't remember exactly how long it took, but yes. The 12 episodes are pretty good. The action, the freaking scenes when there's just action, or freaking Deku just like punching the smashing something with his Detroit Smash or whatever, is like State Smash, or All Might's fight in the end with Nomu. That was freaking amazing. Those scenes were like, mwah, freaking One Punch Man, or you know, Studio Bones or whatever. That was good. And of course, second season. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see second season. And of course they teased it at the end. They introduced like a little something in the end of the first season about maybe where they might go to. And because if we all manga fans know who that character is, we know how much or how further they're going to go in the second season of the anime. So I'm pretty excited for that. That's why My Hero earns number 2 in this spot. And number 1. I don't know if you guys were expecting this series, but you know, it might be obvious considering how much I love this series in the channel and how much I cover this series. ReZero, starting life in something as zero. So of course this series is still ongoing, but for what it gave and showed for this season, or spring 2016 season, the first 12 episodes I believe, this series was my go-to anime and my favorite thing to watch out of anything in the spring 2016 season. It's the anime that I just had to watch like every day. It's like no missing the episode, and just like, you know, I had to look at this series and see what happens next. You know, the first the way they introduced the anime in the beginning, it hooked me up so much because I was like looking at it in Crunchyroll and I was like, oh, episode 1A, and I was like, what the frick is this? Like, is this some kind of like weird thing going on? I guess I watched it, and then of course it introduces the whole return by death thing, the ReZero-ness and whatnot, and I was like, oh, I see where they're going with this. And it, like, I was like super excited. I was like, dude, this is pretty cool. And then of course episode 1B came out. I was like, okay, episode 1B, so it's a different perspective, like different timeline, whatever. Then he freaking dies, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's a freaking thing happened. And then he dies, and I was like, oh, episode 2. And then, like, you know, I wanted to see how they went with this series. And for one, they introduced sort of like, not that so much of a big aspect of like how he's like returning from death and whatnot, and how he's like in this fantasy world for some reason. But you know, it started off really small. It's like, oh, I'm in this fantasy world, I'm gonna help out this girl, I died, and then, you know, I came back to life, like, oh shoot, and now I'm trying to save this girl who's gonna die, right? And then, you know, it's about him just helping out Amelia. And then eventually it goes bigger when he's to the mansion, and then he's to earn the trust of Ram and everyone in the mansion. And he's continuing to die, and it's like, oh my goodness, why I keep dying? You know, why can't I just keep living and whatnot? Why is there anything bad in the series? So yeah, like this series, oh my goodness, I don't know why, but you know, if you guys see me in my up-to-date episodes of this series, like this series will blow your mind and freaking make you think like heck, because this series and its dang return by death thing is just like a whole freaking, what was I supposed to say, it's a mind freaking thing. It's a freaking blows people's minds or something. I don't know, it's hurting my head just talking about it right now. So yeah, ReZero earns my number 1 spot just because out of anything in this series, like if I had to, like, you know, if I just really had to, if I was gonna like, oh, what am I super excited for this season or this next week to watch? It'd be this series. And I know it's just, you know, it's still ongoing, which I'm gonna have to cover it up in the summer 2016 when it ends in 7-8 episodes. I don't remember, but yes, I will be covering it also in the end for what it gave in the last in the half point episode, because in the spring 2016 I'm pretty sure it did like the first 12 or up to that point, somewhere halfway, and then summer is like the 12 and up to 24. So I'll be covering that specific episodes in the end of summer 2016. So that is it for my whatchamacallit. So that is it for my spring 2016 anime review. I just wanted to do that and have this image on because this is the thumbnail. It looks pretty awesome. So yeah, I hope I didn't make it pretty like obvious that all the animes were on this list here. I will give some honorable mentions. For one, Flying Witch was a series that I did cover in this episode, or not this season, right? And I didn't really get into it. I mean, it was pretty like, it was, I don't know how to put it. I didn't really finish it, but for one, the first few episodes, it's entertaining. It's, you know, it's by my boys JC Staff, who did my favorite anime, and you know, for one, it just really felt different from everything I've seen in the series, and it's really calm and sort of just like an anime to enjoy and watch. You know, I was like, oh, this is so peaceful when I watch this. Ah, oh, yes. Don't forget about ReZero and My Hero and Kaminari. Ah, oh, yes. Just relax and watch it. And yeah, no, there's also My Oiga or Lost Village. I totally dropped that series so long ago. I mean, I'm probably gonna finish it just because I got like halfway through, and like, you know, it was just like, oh my gosh, like there's so much stuff that, like, you know, it's stuff sort of happens, stuff sort of doesn't, and it's just like, oh, it's the wait game and whatnot. It sort of kind of lost interest halfway through. Anything else that I mentioned this season? Not that I remember. There is Sakamoto. Yeah, Sakamoto was hilarious. Oh my goodness, that freaking anime. Why did I put it in this here? I don't remember why I did. I don't know why I didn't put it in this thing. But anyways, I totally forgot about that. Yes. So that is it for my spring 2016 anime review. You know, of course, this is all just my opinion. I did not watch every single thing. I know there's like Joker Game, I think, and Bungo Stray Dogs. Yes, Bungo Stray Dogs was also there. I did not get to Bungo Stray Dogs because I just kind of forgot about that series for one. That first episode I was like, oh, it's pretty interesting. Don't know where it's going with, but you know, I might consider finishing all those series up later on when I have time. But yeah, spring 2016 season, man, those were the days. Oh my goodness. I know what I'm super excited for is My Hero Academia 2 and of course ReZero continue on in this season. So those are the two series. That's why the top two are the hype ones that I'm really enjoying and whatnot. So yes, of course, for one, I want to remind you guys, this is my opinion. I didn't watch everything. So if you guys disagree or agree with my ranking or my opinion of these series and whatnot, that's fine. That's all totally fine. You know, what do you guys think was your favorite or the best, or let's not use the best. What was your favorite anime from last season, the spring 2016? Was it in this list? Did I honorably mention it somewhere and I didn't complete it? So I'm sorry. You know, tell me guys in the comment section below. And without further ado, let's just ignore summer or spring 2016 and go back to summer, because all the shit that's happening in here, man. Love Live, Danganronpa, ReZero. There's something else on cover. Rewrites, Planetarian, all the awesome stuff that I'm watching this season. It's so beautiful. So anyways guys, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video on Domotaku's anime channel. Like the video if you liked my review of last season, and you know, and all the animes of that season. You know, I didn't watch all of them, but you know, I'm pretty sure they're all pretty good. And subscribe, because I'm pretty sure I need to go do another season before this, and I'm gonna go do the summer season when that ends. And of course, I am still continuing to watch ReZero and review on it. You guys could probably tell because it's on my freaking main page. I'm like, the shit that happened in the last episode of ReZero, like it's on my channel, like on the front and whatnot. And you know, Love Live and Rewrite and all that stuff is really awesome this season. So stay tuned for all the new animes and whatnot, and all the reviews and the reviews and reactions and whatnot and impressions. Check them out this season. So anyway guys, I'll see you guys on the next video on the Domotaku's anime channel. Take care guys, matane, and keep watching some anime.